So, you've lied to your partner. Now, if you've lied to your partner or deceived them in any way, whether you intended or not, stay tuned. Sissy and I are going to share some info with you.
Welcome back to another episode of the Blissology podcast. I am your host, Cece, and I'm joined by my other host, Hubby.
Hey everybody, this is Willem, and welcome to our podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about
love, life, relationship, and what else, babe?
Lies.
Okay. What do you got going on today?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah,
but a lot of other stuff that happens in the world. So welcome back, everybody. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, remember to subscribe. We want to make sure that you get notified when we put out these new videos. Our goal is to keep you informed, keep you entertained, and have fun.
That's right, guys. So let's move into our blissful moment. Blissful moment. What is my blissful moment? Let's start with your first, babe. What's your blissful moment?
My blissful moment is that I have my wife in my life, and we're about to kick off 2021 soon.
I guess we haven't started.
We're still in the planning phases in terms of finding the best way of putting things out. Obviously, we started doing things differently. You know, it's important to have a partner that understands, you know, the goals that you have and the things you want to achieve, and right there along with you, planning and figuring things out. So it's a blessing to have that. I mean, we haven't had any disagreement. In fact, we've had many supportive arguments. Well, not arguments, but discussion.
Right.
Disagreement. Since the year started, to make sure that we really put ourselves in the best place to execute our plans.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm grateful. I am grateful.
I am grateful for you too.
Me? I lie.
Yes, you do. And this is why we're going to slide right into the topic of the day. Okay. So let's just get into it. You know, before we do that, I think that blissful moment really meant for both of us.
Absolutely.
I agree. So thank you for sharing. Hey. So guys, listen. So this man lied to me. Okay.
I was just joking earlier. I don't have a bone in my body that's ever tell a lie.
So
honest to, I don't know, what do they do, like the pinky promise thing? Well, I can't say honest to God.
That means you lie. Like, who in this world never told a lie, right? No one is perfect. Let's start off first by saying no one is perfect. But I do believe in a relationship, you got to be honest. You got to be careful, because sometimes that will destroy a marriage. Right?
Well, there are little white lies. There are heavy lies.
Listen.
You know, there are lies that are relationship breakup lies, and there are lies that relationship protecting lies.
Here's the thing, guys. Have you ever told your husband that you're finishing up with some work in the office? When you know that you're just hanging out with your buddies, or you're just on social media. Checking out social media. I mean, I'm guilty sometimes when I'm in the office checking out social media or Instagram, and my husband's like, babe, are you ready? I'm like, no, I'm not done yet. You know, because it could be some stuff that's very interesting that I want to finish up.
But she knows if she tells me she's on social media, I'm going to say, put that away. We don't have time for that.
But
so she lied.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm coming for you. Listen, I know you've told your wife that the lawnmower don't, listen.
I can't mow a lawn, but I know there's people who's told their spouse that the lawnmower's out of gas.
The lawnmower's out of gas, baby. I think we're going to have to do it next Saturday. But then deep down that there's gas in there, you just don't want to do it. Right? This is a lie. Listen, God is watching. It's a lie. So get it going, okay? Seriously. And listen, guys, we're not talking about cheating on your spouse. And I think that's major to me. That's like something that's really major.
Well, this obviously.
But we're talking about dishonesty.
Well, dishonesty, and it always starts somewhere. It starts with little things that one get away with. You know, I got away with this little thing here. And, and it becomes a habit. And when something
Yes.
becomes a habit, you do it without even thinking.
Yes.
And yes, it starts out, it's innocent. Yeah, I didn't tell the whole truth. Or I told this little lie, no one gets hurt. But what a big problem becomes is that it gradually gets bigger. Today it's about social media. Tomorrow it's about the stove wasn't working, so I couldn't cook your food. And then before you know it, it gets into, you know, my cousin was the one that was at the house while you were at work.
Right.
When it's someone else.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But I think the question is here. You got to be honest with yourself and said, how much is this going to really impact my relationship? Like, by me telling the truth, am I going to get away with it, or should I just lie and get away with it? Because, you know, either way, you still get away with it, right?
Well, not always, but
I
many
feel like
times.
consciously speaking, like you deep down inside, you know that you just told a lie, but you just can't move on.
Well, some of us, but there's some of us that we give ourselves reason why it was necessary to lie. So it makes us feel okay that, it's just a little lie. No one gets hurt, and it helped me achieve whatever I was looking to achieve. So it's okay. But the moment that you start rationalizing your reason for lying, then you're convincing yourself that it's okay to keep lying. And believe me, you will keep lying. Sometimes you lie about things that you had no business lying about, but because it feels good to lie, you just do it.
Listen,
Now,
social media is not too bad.
Let me just make a clear disclaimer.
You're not speaking from
I'm not speaking from experience.
No, he's
I'm not
He's not
speaking from experience. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here if I was the serial liar. I think that's a reasonable term to use.
Yes.
But it's important. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to be a liar, but sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we're afraid of facing the consequences of telling the truth. So we tell a little white lie, we call it.
Yes. And there's no such thing as a white lie, black lie. Lie
I've only heard the term
there's
white
no black
lie.
I'm just kidding.
Yellow lie.
But to me, just like, you know, perfect example with my daughters, I want to make sure that they come, you know, they tell me the truth all the time. And that's something that I want them to do going forward. They're only 6 and 9. And what I told my girls, like, even if I'm going to get upset at what you're going to tell me, still tell me. Still say, Mommy, you know what? I broke the mirror or whatever. Don't go around the corner and say, you know what, Mommy, this is what happened. Or
the cat broke it. Well, we don't have a cat.
What had happened was, you know, this. No, come forward. That way it's going to avoid so many back and forth. Because once you tell me a lie, it's going to be hard for me to really trust you. And you want them to make sure they start by telling the truth at an early age of, you know, life.
Yeah. And that's a good way to put it for kids that you're raising. But in a relationship where it's grown people, it's important to follow a similar concept.
Yes.
Be open with your partner. Yes, there may be things that we disagree on, and that's okay for us to have a disagreement. It's okay for us to not see eye to eye on things. Don't tell me that it's okay when you know that it's not okay. Because when you tell me it's okay today, tomorrow I'm probably going to do the same thing. And you'll probably be just as pissed. But because you told me that it's okay, I think it's okay.
You know, I mean, it's true. Like, no, it's not okay. I don't like what you did. You know, just be honest. And I know sometimes, ladies, it's hard for us to be like, we just went to the store and spent $500 on clothes. But... And listen, it's hard, okay? But you gotta still come forward. Well, you better not
be spending $500 on clothes.
Even if you did. Well, listen, even if you did, okay? But at least you tell your husband, hey, babe, listen, I went to the mall, or I went on Amazon and I got over, I don't know, I came over me. You know, that's another way of getting away with it. Like, you know, I end up spending way more than I thought I was going to spend. So you just gotta be honest with yourself. You know, because when I tell my husband a lie, I just don't feel comfortable. I mean...
You've been telling me lies?
No, I have not, baby. I have not. And I'm not lying right now. I have not. So it's just for me to tell you that it's very uncomfortable, right? And prior of us having kids, when I go to the store and I don't want him to see if I got an extra pants or an extra shoes. I will put it in the trunk of my car and wait until way later he gets home. I'm sure I'm not the only one who've done this. Come on, ladies, come through for me, okay? And I would just wait until he gets home, or before he gets home, and I'll put it in the closet and pretend as if it's not a new outfit.
And let me just add this.
So
I wouldn't care much that she get this extra stuff, but in her head she's thinking that I'm gonna think that's too much.
Yes.
And sometimes we give us reasons for lying when it's not even necessary. So what, you bought that extra stuff? It's not the end of the world.
I feel like it's our conscience. It's like, you did something wrong. That's unless if you're a pro at it. I'm not a pro at lying. I'm not. Unless if you like a pro at, you can cover up for the next lie.
Well,
then,
when to tell a lie, you got to tell other lies to cover it. And it becomes a constant covering of lies.
Right.
Some lies can go weeks and months. You got to keep
and
telling
years.
lies to cover that initial lie. And before you start forgetting what you had. I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but you can tell if you told this person you didn't buy this, and then you kept having to, for like, this is how long I've had it. This is how long it's been in the family. When you know that you bought the thing 2 weeks ago, and then this person see you 5 months later, and you having to remember, okay, I did tell this person I didn't buy this, so the family thing.
Right.
So you having to make lies to cover lies. Why go through all of that stuff? See, my wife sometimes tells me that I'm too honest. I'll tell you stuff. You ask me how much I bought this. If I bought it at the flea market, I'm gonna tell you I bought it at the flea market.
No one needs to know that.
I know they don't, but I'm not the type that's going to make things up just for making things up. I'll tell you. Yeah, where did you go? I went to that place. This is what I did.
One thing I would tell my husband is that you don't have to be so detailed when you do something. Like, especially if you're a grown man, I think, yes, I went to the store. And then that's all you need to know, that I went to the store. I mean, if you...
there's this thing called a little lie by omission. And it's a concept where you just don't tell the whole truth.
Well, yes. You don't tell, you just tell a little bit of what they need to know, right?
Or if they don't ask, you don't tell. See, I'm not like this.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I'm
right?
open. I found something that works, and you ask me, how does this work? I'm going to give you more details than you need.
Unless if it's something that you stop at a store, you're surprising me with, then I'm like, babe, where you at? And you kind of like tell me, well, I'm at the store. And I won't go into... what are you buying at the store? Why at the store? I don't do that. But I know when you go to the store and buy me flowers or something, you're like, I'm at the store, babe. I'll see you shortly.
Well, that's not me intentionally
Well,
lying.
no. What I mean by that is because sometimes when I know you get home at a certain time and I see that, okay, it's 15 minutes, a little bit after the time. I'm not checking on you, but I'm just saying, 15 minutes after the time. So I'm going to call to see what's up. Where you at? What's going on? What's happening? Are you okay? First thing I would say is, are you okay, babe? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And all these things, you're not checking on your spouse. You just want to make sure that they're okay. And usually he's at the store either getting flowers or buying something just to surprise me. And or if it's at the office, there's this thing called I'm working late. Not my husband. I call the office, make sure that there's employees there. So, and yeah.
Yes, but don't omit stuff, especially to your spouse. I know with strangers.
Don't lie to your spouse. Don't tell me yes, baby, you look gorgeous when you know.
Yes, actually, that's something I know. I have done this.
Say what now?
I have.
Okay, ladies, we're gonna have to have a fight later tonight.
But I have. We all have, guys. We all have, because your woman could be like, had the worst day. Hair is like crazy. But you know that if you tell her that, geez, man, you look like a mess. You in trouble. So you tell her, baby, you look good. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter how your hair is. To me,
so have you told me that before?
Yeah, there's been cases where the hair's like, nah, I won't let you go out.
Oh my God. So are you trying to tell me?
If we're going out, you're not so. I'm going to tell you, if I were you, I'd do something different. But there are times you're at home like, geez. And sometimes it's like borderline. If you know that you don't say, you okay, you're good. If you say anything else, it becomes, really? No. And I have, and all guys can relate to this. Sometimes your woman may have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Hair's this way, mouth is that way.
Wait, I've never woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Let's be honest, okay? I always make sure my head is all wrapped. It's all looking nice.
We all have had days where we don't look ourselves at all. Eyes swollen, nose all like clogged up.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have had that. But, guys, we got to tell our spouse, you look good, you're okay. But you know what I do? I say, man, baby, you know what? It doesn't matter what you go. It doesn't matter what you have on. To me, you look good.
So now,
but I just won't let you get in the car and leave.
So that's good to know for next time when I'm getting ready to go out. If you kind of like say these things to me, I know that I don't look good. I know that I don't look good. That's something that's going to happen.
I'm the type that if we're going out, I'll tell you something's off if I see it. Now, I'm not the type that's crazy detail either. If there's a string of hair out of place, I'm not going to say, man, go comb there. It's no big deal. But if your pants has a spot on it, you're not leaving. Or if your hair's like all upside down, you're going to go back and do something with it. And you appreciate it. Because being honest to our spouse and giving honest feedback is important. But sometimes there are cases where you need to be supportive to your spouse and lift their spirits up. That's not when you crush it. And there have been those moments, because there are times that this person may be going through some time, and you may have to tell them that, you know what, you look good, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
And that helps this person get through the thing. So
right.
It's not a lie. It's doing something to boost up your spouse
in a way,
your partner.
It's kind of like, a lie.
It's not telling the truth, because if you look like crazy, and I don't tell you look like crazy.
If you look like a mess, ladies, we know when we feel like a mess, and we can tell that, okay, something's wrong.
But if you feel like a mess, someone come and tell you you're even messier than you are, it kills your confidence, especially if you're with someone that may have issues with self-esteem. Mm-hmm. Because there are things you tell people, because words are important.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when it's because there's people that you would have confidence in you. They believe in you, and they expect you to lift them up when they're having a low moment. So yes, we'll lift each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes choosing the right words. I may use so many words to say what I say. Not that I'm telling you don't look good. But I'm going to tell you, if I were you, I probably would have done it this way. Let me make the suggestions. And all of this, you will not get the word that says, man, you look crappy. But I'm going to choose the words to help me make the suggestions to help you get to where you
right. And I think that's another way of saying, like, where I need to motivate you, right? Like I need to motivate you to look better, to know that, when you look in the mirror, you see yourself look crappy, but then because you have someone who sees the opposite, trying to motivate you for you to do better, then I guess the lie there kind of like help a little bit. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, it does.
It's like a lie motivation or motivation lie.
Sometimes, in some very few occasions, it's okay to tell someone what they want to hear, at least with the intentions of either helping them get better or helping them change their mind, or always add extra to it. Say, you know what, I agree with you. However, if I was you, I'd probably do it this way, and this is why. Right. I'm just saying you're right, but I'm not just saying you're right, just go on. I'm saying you're right.
Guys have this thing. Yes, guys, when they don't want to just, listen to the ladies talking, but don't want to hear you, like, yeah, you're right. But then when you ask them later, what did I just say? And they have no idea what you just said.
Well, sometimes it's still avoiding arguments.
They have no clue. But why not just pay attention and listen? But that's, to me, that's when it really triggers me to get more upset, because if you're like, okay, baby, okay, like, when it comes to you, like, okay, darling, okay, but then I'm like, okay, you just agree with everything I said, but then when I ask you to, did you understand, baby, you get it? You're like, yeah, I got you, but you weren't paying attention, you weren't listening.
That I'm guilty of, and I have my reasons.
It's like, can you just pay attention for 5, 15, 30 minutes?
It's not a matter of paying attention.
It is.
See, let me just clear this out. And many guys can actually relate to this.
What you got, baby?
There are things, there are things that when it's brought up, I do a quick assessment. Okay, if I go down this path, how much longer am I going to involve in this back and forth conversation? Or if I go this path, it just put an end to it and good to go. And at the end of the day, I know whichever outcome that derive from this conversation, it's fine. So if it's something she wants to do or some ideas that she ran by me and she wants to maybe start implementing it, I know if I oppose it, probably it's going to be a lengthy conversation where at the end of it, she
maybe.
Hear me. At the end of it, she still may get to do what she wanted to do. And I looked at it. If she does what she wants, it's not the end of the world either. Yes, I may have wanted to do it differently, but it's okay if she does it her way. So yes, I may say, yes, you're right. Go on with it. Instead of me saying, you know what? No. And then 30 minutes later, we're still going back and forth.
So
sometimes there are things that I need to get to. And if it's an idea that she can make work, say, hey, just go with it. I'm good with it. And I've said that. I'm good with it. Just carry on. But sometimes...
But then when you say you're good with it, it doesn't seem like you're really good. You just want to, like, get out of the conversation. You just want to get away.
I have done
Why do you guys do that?
I have done that. And part of this is to avoid me getting caught up in some lengthy conversation where at the end of it, you still get to do the thing the way you wanted to do it. So I find myself wasting time just going back and forth. I don't want to do that. And many of us have done it. It's just to avoid that's lengthy. Sometimes it may turn into an argument. Sometimes it may be a back and forth trying to prove one over the other.
So that's like another way of, to me, it's like a getaway. Like a getaway
yes, it may be a way to get away, a way to avoid arguments, a way to avoid lengthy discussion that may not lead to anything else.
That is so messed
up. And sometimes it's purely to avoid arguments. There are subjects sometimes that are brought up. If you don't say yes, you say anything else, it turns into an argument. And sometimes, I know for me, sometimes I just don't have the energy. Now, I'm strong-minded, which means
we both are.
If there's something that I believe in, I will find every way, every analogist to use to prove my case, which means that conversation can end in like fuming words. Now, we haven't done that, but I can get upset and
we've done that.
So there are cases when a subject may have been brought up and I realize that, you know what? If I say anything other than you're right, let's do this, it becomes something. So I swallow my pride. Now, I don't do it that often because there are things that I don't care how much of an argument that it'll bring forth. I'm going to oppose it. But if it's something that's not going to make a huge difference at the end of the day in terms of me saying, yes, you're right, go on. Yeah, I'm going to say you're right, just move on. And so she looks for me to say no to it because she knows.
Well, yes, because when you say yes to me, it's like, okay, you didn't really care much. You didn't really want to be a part of the conversation. You just want to get wrap it up. But when you really stay in the conversation, kind of like, give me your feedback, or when we talk about it, it means more to me because we actually talking about it. Versus you like, yeah, all right,
sometimes,
it's all right.
Not always have the energy.
True, because me, I'm just gonna keep going until we get to the point. Because I like to conclude stuff.
And the point's usually what she started with, which means we spend that hour. we didn't get anywhere.
We did. That's a lie. You just told a lie. Okay, we did. Let me just say this. Men, you guys need to just listen to your woman, okay? Just listen to your ladies and don't just say, yeah, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, what did I just say? And you're like, huh? That happens to my husband all the time. And I'm like, what did I just say? And you're like, huh?
It doesn't happen all the time. It has happened a few times.
He's like, if he's like so focused on his computer or do whatever, it's so hard for me to get him off the computer to have this conversation with him. And that's why these lies. No, you can't say yes. Okay, honey, it's fine. What did I just say? You have no idea. Let's take it back and make sure that you pay attention next time. Or you listen, which I think is definitely important.
Yes. And lies can take different forms. Like, for instance, there's headache sometimes that comes out of nowhere when things has to happen.
Child, like, I have a headache right now.
All of a sudden, you have a headache.
I have a headache right now, babe.
Some people do that.
I have a headache almost every night.
Or other things people make it seems like then. No, I'm just kidding. But there are things that
Oh
people have
no,
in terms of.
it's not okay. I see where you're going. I see where you're heading in that direction. Yes, it's not okay if you're not satisfied. You know, it's not okay. And I'm sure for the grown people who's watching our podcast or listen to our podcast, you know what I'm talking about. It's not okay if you
you're
tell
not
your
satisfied
partner
to
that
just
you're
say,
not
yeah, it's
satisfied.
okay.
You know, because I think if you let your partner know, then
They
he
can
or
do it
she
differently next time.
right gonna do better. Like, you know what, my wife or my spouse wasn't satisfied the night before, so I gotta make sure that I please her the next time.
But you know, some people can't take that. You tell them they're not satisfied, man. It's either you take away their womanhood or you take away their manhood.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it becomes a big problem.
And that's an issue when you lie about it. Stop faking it, right? Why not just being honest with your partner?
Some people are okay with that.
I don't fake things.
But yes, I mean,
I'm
and
just
this all comes down to being honest with each other. Because if things are not so, whatever it may be, whether it's your sexual life, whether it's your love life, whether it's your financial life, whatever it may be, be upfront and honest.
Because if you're not upfront and honest with your spouse, it's gonna be a miserable life.
And I know
we it does not improve your partner's sexual confidence or their self-esteem, right? Because if you kind of like, okay, we're good, but then
you're not good. Who does it help? No one. And as I was saying, that applies to your sexual life, your financial life, your happy life.
Oh my God, financial life is definitely that's the major.
So and you have to be honest. Yes, the truth is not always easy to handle. The truth can cause arguments, but the truth allows you to understand your partner better. It allows you to resolve issues in the most efficient way. Now, efficient, it may not mean that you won't argue. You may fight. But at the end of the day, whatever the issue was, you would have come to some kind of conclusion. And if you can't come to it on your own, you would seek help as a couple.
Yeah.
But it's good to be honest. Don't make things up and pretend that it's okay. It's not. Because lies will always surface. They never stay hidden.
Oh my God. And when they come out, it's like ugly. The end
Very
to me,
ugly.
I feel like if your partner don't really understand you, when you hold on to a lie for years, and when you finally come out and tell them the truth,
it's the end of the world.
This could be like kill your marriage, your relationship, whatever it is. It's just the end of it. The thing is, I understand if prior of getting married, you had all these lies, you didn't want to tell because you guys were dating or whatever. But
that's the time to tell the truth when you're dating. That's where you know the real person that you're getting. So if anyone who's watching this is currently at the dating stage, this is when you need to let all your bad behaviors come out. That's what, and do it for you and for the person.
Your black little book out.
Yes. If you have issues, I'd rather have you find out what the issues are early on. This way, okay, if I'm going to move on and accept to take these issues long term, then you make the decision based on the real thing, not the made up stuff.
Yes, because it's just going to haunt you. I just think it's going to haunt you because you just can't sleep right. I just don't get how someone would just go through like so many years of holding on to a lie.
People have done it.
People
will continue to do it.
And I know, not that I know anyone, like I've seen on movies where people actually died with their lies, right? Because they never had a chance to really tell the truth. They never had a chance to tell their spouse that either I have 5 kids with different baby. What'd you lie for? Either I have 5 kids or I have a kid back home, or I have another wife, another husband on the side. It's just gonna haunt you somehow, some way. God is gonna reveal it to the person that you are with.
Now she's covered some extreme stuff, but I'm thinking about if you're in a relationship, at least your spouse needs to know how much money you make.
Oh my God!
Yes. I'm in the financial industry, and I know there are people that the partner never know really how much money they have.
Wow.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but you find simple things like this that could really make life easier in the event there's a death in the family. People knows where things are. Some people are hiding stuff from each other. And sometimes you find that it's rooted solely in them not being able to sit and talk about stuff. One doesn't trust the other. And because of that, they've chosen to keep little things on the side. And that's never the best thing to do because things happen. Now, that doesn't mean you have to hold everything jointly, but at least you need to be honest of what's there.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and that's only on the money side. And you find others maybe, and it may be something as simple as, you know, if you're in a husband and wife and you're doing something for your parents, it's okay for the other one to know that, hey, I'm doing something for my parents. I don't have to do it on the side. Or if I'm doing something for maybe another family member who may need some help, whether it's financially, whatever it may be, if I'm doing it with my spouse, aware that I'm doing it. If they have an issue with it, we can talk it out and really help them understand why it's important that I do this.
Sure.
But some people are afraid that my spouse is going to do this, so I'm going to do it on the side.
Yeah.
And believe me, it'll come out. And when they find out that you didn't tell them, they know that's been going on for years. Woo! For guys, we may be a little bit more relaxed. And for women, they'll go off on you. Especially if it's money related or a family member that they didn't like that you're doing this for.
Money is so sensitive though. It's just so sensitive. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the truth about everything in a relationship, you just got to come off and just be honest. It's hard, right? Yes, it is. I mean, just telling the truth is hard. That's what they say. The truth will set you free.
You know, it may be hard, but it all depends on how you look. Telling the truth should be the easiest thing you do because you don't have to make it up. What's hard is the consequences we're thinking that comes with telling the truth. Because if I don't have, see, you tell me that I'm an open book. It's because if this happens, the exact way that I remember it, I'm going to tell you. So I don't have to work extra to make it seem or to edit it. No, it just comes out the way it happens. So it's the easiest thing to do.
And sometimes we don't tell the truth just to avoid, arguments, like we said earlier. I know sometimes my mom and I will talk about things and I'll like, okay,
I believe grown people should never be afraid of telling what is. For a kid, I can understand. Like for my daughter, I can understand if she does this, she's gonna afraid that maybe I'm gonna get upset. And my goal is to help her understand that I may get upset, but this is the reason why. And just because I'm upset, that doesn't mean I don't love you as my daughter. I still love you. I may not like what you did, and I'm going to help you maybe do it differently next time. But tell me. Because if you're already thinking that I'm going to get upset, that means you did something you shouldn't have done. Right? But as grown folks, if we do something, we did something. Whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, whether it's a crazy expensive thing that we shouldn't have bought, but we bought it. We already bought it. I'm not going to hide it and says, man, I think I paid. No, I paid that for it. If we're going to talk about how bad I am with managing money, then we're going to talk about it. So next time, I'm going to sure that I don't do it. Right? So, and this is where, as grown folks, I don't think we should have reservations in telling the truth, especially to our spouse. I know there's things that outsiders don't need to know. Because there's people, what they do is do whatever they can to find out what's going on in your life so they can go and make news about you. So yes, people like this, yes, you can choose. I don't owe anyone outside of my house or outside of my household or my parents. I don't owe anyone an explanation of what I do. Actually, you can ask me and I can flat out tell you, I don't want to discuss that with you. And I'm good with it. You can go and not feed me anymore, but you weren't feeding me to start with. So I don't have to worry about going hungry. Right? So... But I operate this way for a reason, and I have not had to make up things to cover things because I just tell you stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than I need to.
Sometimes more than you need to. Yeah, more than I need to. And I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. I think you don't owe anyone an explanation. Like, you're a grown man, you do what you do. And if it's something that you feel like, okay, I want to share with so and so, with my wife or my parents.
Yeah, but within my household, yes. If I do something, we need to talk about it. I'm talking about people outside. I don't owe them explanations,
right?
Because people don't need to know what I do. But within the family, within this relationship, we need to be open,
right?
And we have been. Yeah, that's probably why we can joke about a whole lot of stuff.
Yes, I feel like sometimes we've been too honest with each other.
That's okay,
you know. And the thing is, you know, and I can see our little girls actually, you know, coming up and just like us by being honest with the things that we do.
Well, yes, my daughter's called me out several times on bringing the phone to the table, and because that's something that we don't allow. And when I do it, they call me out.
Yes, they do call you out.
Or if I do something that I shouldn't do, or if I say something I shouldn't say to mommy, they call me out.
Yes,
and then I want to raise them to be able to speak against what they see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, don't accept it just because no one there saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you see something that shouldn't be, speak it out.
Yes.
Someone may say this kid is honest. Disrespectful. Sometimes people say that, but it's all because someone tells the truth.
The truth. Listen, people say you gotta spice it up a little bit by telling a lie, so that way, you know, it's more juicy. So
our people knows how to make things juicy. I'll tell you that.
I'd rather just tell my husband the way it is. It is what it is. If my husband if we get upset, we could talk about it and then we'll just move on. At least I know. Yes, if I go and spend $300 on stuff on something that costs $100, you know. But if I told my husband, hey, listen, babe, I went and bought this for $500. I mean, I needed it. You know, you kind of like, I don't know what he's gonna say. You know, listen, I know I'm not the only one that does that. Like when I buy something from either Sephora or something, if I go to Sephora for just one item, you know, and I walked out with worth of $200 worth of makeup, and I'm like, babe, I went there for lipstick, and then
I'm gonna use some of those lipsticks.
I walked out with something else, and but then it's good for me to let him know because we share one account, we share everything we have. It's jointly, so that's the thing. Yes, he's gonna see that I spend this much money, but it doesn't really have much of an issue for us. You know, he sees what I spent and I see what he spent, and we don't check on each other like that. You know, it's good that I say to him, this is what happened, but I'm not giving him an explanation as if I'm a little girl that he's on a whooping or something, no, but I'm just letting him know to say, I went to the store, I bought this and this, and it went up to this much money, and then, we're cool.
And that's it.
We're cool. All right, we're cool. So we don't have to argue about it. So don't argue over this much money.
This is not me saying that you should go and spend. This is not her saying that you should go, because understand the relationship that you're in. There may be things that work for us.
Right.
That may not
be as cool as just, with your spouse like we are.
Yes.
Okay.
So when it comes to money, and this is where you need to be very open to your spouse. And yes, what we do is what we do, and we're cool with it because we know where we are. There's things that we can afford, and we can actually go and do this.
Right.
And this is where having financial conversation with your spouse is important, because you need to know where you are. Mm-hmm. There are things, because yes, if you spend the bill money, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And this is where communication and being upfront and being honest is important. Because I'll tell you, if you're in a relationship and you know that this money is for this, you're not going to go and spend it on that. Otherwise, you are being irresponsible. And if you are being irresponsible, the other person need to tell you are being irresponsible.
Right.
Because that's how we get better. We need to get called out on stuff, talk about it, get upset, but find a solution. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, you're in it for a long term, which means everything that applies to a relationship will happen. Money, love, kids, house, all the things that can cause issues in a relationship is there.
Right. They will happen.
And being honest and upfront with each other will help you manage through these things. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they won't cause issues. They will cause issues. But having a mechanism to go through these issues and find solutions for them, that's what's important.
Yes. Absolutely agree with you.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
So
Guys,
I have lied to my spouse. No, I'm just kidding.
listen, it's not easy. It's hard. I understand. It takes time, right? But if you start from the beginning by telling your spouse the truth, it should be okay. You shouldn't have no fear of, if you spend a few money here and there, or if you did something that your spouse is going to feel a certain way about whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's okay to not be okay, because at the end of the day,
It's okay to not be okay.
it's okay to not be. I know that's a term that's been thrown around in many settings lately, but it's okay to have a tough conversation with your spouse. It's okay to feel, man, this was exhausting talking about this, but at the end of the conversation, you felt like you've accomplished something.
Right.
And this is what I'm saying. It's okay to not be okay, because yes, there may be things that you've done or that had happened that that's not an okay situation, but it's okay to be in that situation that's not okay, so you can discuss it, find ways to make it okay.
Absolutely.
And you'll find your relationship will work a lot better than it had been in the past when you have these tough conversations.
Listen.
And stop lying to your spouse.
Stop lying to your spouse, okay?
Anyway,
be
guys,
honest. Tell the truth. The truth will set you free, girl. Okay.
She dropped the mic. She just dropped the mic. So everybody, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, guys.
I noticed this may have been a little bit longer than we normally run these things for, but I wanted to share that with you because I think in any relationship, we have to be very open and honest with each other.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that we shared some stuff with you. Obviously, we kind of joke around for a good part of this, but I'm hoping that we're able to share some serious information with you on how to handle things within your household, within your family. So thank you very much for joining us. For those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we put out these new videos. We are on a number of different platforms. Obviously, you're probably watching us now. Like the video. That's what you're probably watching us now on YouTube, so definitely check us out on Facebook, iTunes, TuneIn, and iCloud. No, not iCloud. SoundCloud. That's the right term. So again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Newcomers, welcome. Those of you who have been with us for a while, thank you, and continue to support us.
I love you guys.
And peace.
Bye.